Hi everyone, welcome back to GB School of Neuro Rehab and Aquatic Therapy. We are doing case discussion of rehabilitation of different patients with neurological diseases. Today, we are going to discuss complicated case of two burst fracture of spine followed by paraplegia. It is 1.5-year-old case of spinal cord injury. She is a 22-year-old young girl who had unfortunate fall while climbing on a tree. Fall led to burst fracture of T12 and L2 vertebra leading to paraplegia. Usually, burst fractures causes severe damage to the cord and unstable spine, leading to poor prognosis of the patient. In this case, we have two-level burst fractures which has aggravated severity of the problem. That is why she was operated for the spinal fixation from T10 to L4 vertebra to provide the stable spine. At that time, her level of neurological injury was T12. She belongs to low socio-economical background, so haven't taken rehab after operation for 1.5 years. After examination, we requested her to come for rehab and ambulation training. She was not willing for rehab because she was emotionally depressed and financially she couldn't afford long-term rehab. So, she had lost hope in life. Whole assessment, she was just crying and unable to express her feelings. As a physiotherapist in rehabilitation, we are not only supposed to solve the impairment, activity limitation and participation restrictions, but we also have to work on contextual factors affecting the recovery, such as personal and environmental factors. So here, we started to solve their contextual factors. We had many challenges for recovery, such as first, neurological. She had loss of lower limb control, sensation and loss of bowel and bladder control. Second was, it is 1.5-year-old delayed treatment and rehab case. Third was psychological and emotional issues, so we had to motivate her to fight. Fourth was financial constraint. At last, she and family were willing to come to rehab for only 1 to 2 months. In this case, we are going to discuss how we solved all these issues and could we make her walk within 2 months. We started with the financial problems first. We have planned intensive training of 3 to 4 hours 2 times a day. She could stay at the center after first session and take rest. It will avoid 2 times travel expenses. We have 2 sessions per day, but we billed for only one, that is we gave her 50% discount. Her caliper or the KAFO were arranged free of cost from a free camp. Second was her emotional issue. We assured her that we will make her walk independently within 1 to 2 months and started walking training from day 1. With this, she got more confidence and hope for recovery. Third, neurological rehab started with following training. Most of the spinal cord injury on the initial assessment shows type A or the complete cord injury. But we have to keep re-evaluating them frequently. So in this case, it was showing complete cord injury 1.5 years back. But after the assessment, we found some movement in the hip flexor, that is the L2 segment. So we concluded that it is incomplete cord injury, that is type B. But there was no control in the knee or the ankle. By changing from complete cord injury to the incomplete cord injury, her potential of walking changed from nearly 2 to 5% to 30 to 40% of the walking potential. We wanted to train her walking with KAFO, so we planned to strengthen hip flexors so that she could do stepping during walking. For the hip flexor facilitation, the pelvis is stabilized with one hand and the other hand is used to initially stretch the hip flexors followed by assisting the hip flexion. Next, we did prone push-up training for the upper limb strengthening and to improve the trunk control. In this training, a pillow is kept below the abdomen to transfer the weight from the upper trunk to the pelvis so that we can avoid stress on the operated site. Push-in sitting and the push-up bars were also used for the upper limb strength. After that, we improved her bed mobility skills using the crippling method, in which she will go from the upper end of the bed to the lower end of the bed. In this, she will use pulling mechanism to come forward and pushing mechanism to go backward. This method is also called as military type creeping and walking on forearm. In prone pelvic lifting training. Initially, we started with the short range pelvic lifting training with the help of bolster. The large height of the bolster made it easy for her to lift the pelvis. The progression was made by reducing the height of the support and increasing the range of movement. So, we shifted from bolster to the pillow and lastly without any support. So in the end, she was doing pelvic lifting without any support, which finally led to improvement in the dynamic control of balance of trunk and pelvis. To prepare her to transfer from bed to wheelchair, we started with sitting push-ups and side shifting training with the help of upper limb push-up. Once she got good balance in this dynamic activity of side shifting, we started training of bed to wheelchair transfer and vice versa. This bed to wheelchair transfer will also help her to transfer from wheelchair to auto or car. After this, we work to sit to stand training to improve the trunk and the lower limb dynamic stability. In this, we started from initial range pelvic lift to mid range sit to stand, and in the end, she learned full range sit to stand on her own. Later, we trained her for walking with KFO on bodyweight support treadmill training. The harness lifts the body partially so it becomes easy to step on the treadmill while walking. In the beginning, the therapists were required to support the trunk in the walking. Later, she didn't require any trunk support. The therapists were just sitting beside her to give the minimum assistance during stepping. After 1 month, we started working on facilitation of knee extension control, in which the internal rotation of the hip helped in the knee extension. After treadmill walking training for 1 month, we worked on walking training in the parallel bar with the KAFO. The treadmill training helped her to learn stepping in the parallel bar. The key to get dynamic stability during walking with KAFO is to extend hip in the mid stance to improve forward stepping on the opposite side. And within few days, she learned good balance in the parallel bar walking. So we shifted to walking training with the walker. So by the end of 2 months, she could walk independently with KFO and walker. We also gave her trial for walking training with FRO or short caliper up to the knee. She was able to walk with short caliper with minimum support on treadmill with harness. Now we have discharged her for home training program for 2 to 3 months. When she gets excellent stability during walking with KFO at home, we are planning to call her back for 2 weeks to 1 month for training with AFO as we achieved with our other patients. Thank you.
GB School of Neuro Rehab and Aquatic Therapy. Subscribe and press the bell icon for more updates. Like, comment and share. Thank you.